This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, and MEI and Mousefan Travel is the official travel agency of WDW Today. And if you're planning your next trip to Walt Disney World and want to make the whole process just a little bit easier on yourself, have a little help with it, have someone in your back pocket for if you need them, why not use MEI and Mousefan Travel to plan your next vacation to Walt Disney World? Give them a try. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, November 5th, 2008, and this is episode 484 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On today's show, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, is it bad if I'm eating my Halloween candy still?
I'm eating mine, so I don't think it's bad.
All right, well, let me know when it becomes bad to do that. Also on today's show, we have Mike Scopa, a blogger over at allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Is Celine Dion here?
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
That's a good voice, actually. And also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World at touringplans.com. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Good. How does it feel to have your website out of the hospital finally?
It feels good, actually. I'm just working on some really minor stuff right now.
Good. And joining us once again is the fabulous Annette Owens of MEI and Mousefan Travel. How are you, Annette?
Hi, just fine, and stealing the Halloween candy from the kids still. So
Nice.
nothing wrong with eating the candy still.
That's why Newell never had kids. No candy to steal from. Just keep them all for himself.
It's all for me. It's all mine.
Mary asked Mike, did this trick-or-treaters come? And he'll say, yep, they took us all out.
Clean this out.
Yeah, exactly. It's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions. So we'll start out with a question from Adam Goodger, who's the host of the Disney Brit podcast. And I'm going to send this question for Newell here. Newell, you can answer this one. He writes, I've listened to your episode on Chocolate of the World recently, and as a UK listener, would like to wholeheartedly agree that British chocolate is amazing. I also wanted to offer to send you some British chocolate if you fancied it.
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Yes.
That's why I said Newell. Okay, well, Newell.
Why did Newell? Newell didn't answer
Newell.
at all.
Well, Newell always complains that he never gets anything, so I wanted to give him some free chocolate, but Len beat him to it. So
There's an idea.
1,000 times, yes. Jesus. I mean, can you imagine, Newell, if they offered us booze on the show?
I don't know. All you'd hear is my headset falling to the floor and clattering. I'd be running to wherever you are.
Nice. Next email's from Lisa Don't Sweep Me Bro Ferry, who's the host of the Those Darn Cats podcast, who writes, Mangello to M Cubed, Len, don't Bogart the Pierceuet, my friend. Does that make sense to you?
What?
Don't Bogart the Pierceuet.
Spell it.
Percocet.
Percocet.
Percocet. Oh. And
Lisa, you should know better than to say
Yeah,
that.
really.
That. You know, these multisyllabic words polysyllabic words don't work for
Multisyllabic.
and the fabulous Annette. You often speak to different types of ticket and their convertibility, if you will. I need some help with math. Yes, I am blonde. What is the most economical way, if any, to buy a park hopper ticket for MouseFest 2008, staying Friday through Sunday? That extra value can be converted to an annual pass for a visit after the holidays when the cash flow is a little bit more fluid. Is it just the value of the balance not used that could theoretically apply to purchasing an annual pass? Or can whatever you paid in total for your, say, 4-day park hopper, no expiration, be converted to an annual pass? I suppose with the expiration date being dated to the date of the original purchase. And thanks to Dr. Well, let's answer that first before she goes on. The answer to that is you use whatever remaining balance is left, right?
based
but you
on
have to
the
do it-
original purchase price, I think.
Right. I'm just trying to think, do you need to do it within 14 days of your original purchase? Can you change it then?
Well, I think if she gets the no expiration option, she's okay.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Right. But yeah, it's remaining balance based on what you paid, like the Scopa said.
But I
The
don't
best
know
bet,
if
though,
it
is to
was
use it
worth
before. Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
better not to get the no expiration
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the first day get the annual pass that day you check in.
Right, because you're going to be burning a lot of money over there. Lisa adds, and thanks Dr. Scopa for mentioning me on his recent All About the Mouse appearance. I am back to walk, jogging, training, doing well, and still hoping to meet my goal of finishing around 2.5 hours. Oh, and thanks to Annette also for pointing me towards a MEI Mouse Fan contemporary room for the event that is well within my price range.
Lovely.
Go Lisa. Go Lisa.
Go run for me, because, no.
Next email is from Dan in Deerfield Beach, Florida, who writes, Matt, love the show. You guys and Annette are great. Just thought I would give you an idea for a show, not to steal Mr. Scopa's thunder for his plethora of brilliant show ideas, of course. You guys could do a show based on the miscellaneous other 2 questions Mr. Newell or other celebrity podcaster rejects from your pick a question segment at the end of your listener question shows. You could call it the long lost listener question show. I'm not sure that you even keep track of the other 2 questions not answered on the past shows, but some sound interesting and funny, and I'm sure that more than one listener has heard their question listed to be picked out and not used. I'm sure they would get a kick out of being addressed again. Just thought I would send you the idea. I want to clear this up. When I do the last thing over there, when Newell picks from the 3, we don't throw away the other 2. We just put them back into the queue, and they get answered in due time. When I pick the 3, I just go out of the order that they're going to be answered in and pick 3 that sound interesting. And if yours don't get answered, but I mention them, yours are still in the queue. We'll eventually get to them. It's just kind of a way to spice things up a little bit. Next email is from Ted Knapp of Fairport, New York, who's TRKJ2001 in the chat room. Hoorah! Hoorah! Congrats. Matt, Len, Mike times 2, and Annette. My family's going to Walt Disney World December 6th to the 15th, 2008. Hope to meet you at MouseFest. For my 5.5-year-old son, it'll be his first time in the parks. I've seen videos online of the welcome show at the Magic Kingdom. I see they pick a family to help open the Magic Kingdom with the Fab Five. My question is, how, when, and where do they select the family? When does the show take place? At the official park opening time, or when they allow guests to first enter the park entrance? When does it take place? When does it take place during extra magic hours in the morning? We would love to be able to get a chance to be that family. So you guys all know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah,
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. My opinion of it has always been that in order to get picked, you basically have to be like that first family, literally at the first person at a turnstile, and then you just got to get lucky and chat up with one of the cast members and show.
I think it's a little bit more than that, Matt. I think you have to be a typical Disney family. That is probably maybe 2 children, maybe a boy and a girl. Maybe both of them preteens, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. And I also think they also look for special events, people celebrating special events. I know that a lot of times honeymooners get picked. A lot of times people, like you said, Mike, the stereotypical nuclear family, 2 parents, a kid. Usually one is around 8 to 12, and another one is somewhere still a kid technically. But yeah, I think the common thing is the best thing to put yourself in the right position is to be literally first in line, right?
Yeah, you want to be up close, that's for sure. You want to be there before the crowd.
Yeah. The idea is to be up in front so the people on the other side of the turnstiles can see you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Next email is from Tara Hurricane. Hey, Matt, Mike, and Len. I know this episode was a while back, but I just recently found your website and have been listening to previous podcasts like crazy. A listener mentioned combining FastPass and Child Swap, and there was some confusion, and you asked if she could comment back. I went to the comments for that show, but didn't see anything, so I wanted to add to this. We have 4 adults and 3 kids, ages 4, 2, and 5 months. We get one set of 2 Fast Passes for, say, Big Thunder Mountain, and then 2 Fast Passes for Splash Mountain. When we come back, we walk up to the person who takes the Fast Pass tickets as a group. Tell him that we'd like to do a rider swap. He hands us a rider pass ticket. Then we take the group over to the area under Splash, situate 1 or 2 adults with the kids, and adult 1 and 2 go ride. Then they come back, adult 3 and 4 go back, in this case, taking along the oldest child who was tall enough, and the 3 of them use the rider swap. This is the way that it's worked, and it's usually worked pretty well for us.
So it's a combination of, so it's the Fast Pass and the...
Yep. It's a pretty good strategy also.
Cool.
Next email is from Nicole and Teresa Jolly of Brooklyn, Connecticut, who write, Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette. I have a few questions to ask and I hope that they will get an answer before we go to Walt Disney World. Well, at least you're getting an answer for it. My husband and I our family are going to Walt Disney World very soon. He and his brother tried to plan a surprise trip for my sister-in-law's 30th birthday and our 5th year anniversary. First, can you bring soy milk into the parks, or is there something that I will have to bring in with us? No,
can you get it in the parks, or are you gonna have to bring it with you? Is that the question?
Oh, can you buy soy milk in the parks, or is this something I'll have to bring with us?
You should probably bring it. I don't know of anywhere where you get soy milk in the parks.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
No, bring it. Be safe.
Yeah, plus probably save money anyway.
Be safe. So milk those soybeans before you get there.
Nicole and Teresa also want to know: are there any age limits on the rides?
There's height limits on
some attractions.
Yeah, but they use height as an approximate gauge of age. So if they, like Stitch, for example, has a height limit, not because Stitch moves, but because they think that kids under a certain height or under a certain age as well, and they wouldn't like the ride.
Right. I mean, they put the height limits simply it's for safety reasons, and it's also to accommodate. If they say like, let's say 4-year-old is the limit, there's a lot of 4-year-olds that are tall for their age, and a lot of 4-year-olds that are short for their age. Yep. That just makes it easier, and it's a little more fair. Also, the cribs at Port Orleans, are they just pack and plays?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, can we send a box down with stuff that we're going to need to the hotel before we get there? It'll be cheaper than paying for a second bag. And we'll
Yes.
do this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just put
Definitely.
on the box your last. Make sure you highlight your last name and put the arrival date when you get on the box too. This way they know to put it aside.
Great. Next email's from Andy Perry of Houston, Texas, who writes, "Hi all. With many folks carrying mobile phones like the iPhone with web capabilities, do you have any suggestions for a mobile-friendly web guide to Walt Disney World? There are great websites for Walt Disney World touring, but which load and display well on mobile devices that we can be using while visiting the parks."
Touringplans.com looks good on
Ding!
on the. It does actually. It was the first thing I did when I got the phone was make sure that it worked with the iPhone, and I mean the touring plans, everything works. Yeah, the trip plans and everything. As something that's specific for phones, I don't know of anything that's specific for that. No, I don't know anything that's specific for that in the phone.
Now, there's not many sites, mine included, aren't optimized for mobile use quite yet. I think there are a few sites that have their forums a mobile version of it, but to say that there's anything really like a guide or something like that, but I have seen the unofficial guide many times on the iPhone, thanks to Len. So, I mean, that definitely works for you over there.
Ooh.
Plus, the good thing with the iPhone compared to other phones is the iPhone like actually displays it like a regular web browser does, as opposed to like my BlackBerry, which shows you the real bad version of it. Next email is from Virginia, George, and Lisa McMahon. Writes, "Hi guys, and the fabulous Annette Owens. Got a few questions. My family is planning a reunion trip for August 2009, which consists of 11 adults and 4 kids ages 6 to 11. We're planning to stay at Saratoga DVC, but hope to change to the Beach Club. Mike Newell, Chantel, or Annette, can you offer any suggestions on make this change at the 7-month mark since the Beach Club is not our home resort?"
I thought you waitlisted that.
Yeah,
but
if it's not available, yeah, you can't book it or even call about it until you're 7 months
7
out.
months.
And then if
She's going to have to call back.
if it's booked, they're going to put you on the wait list. And
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, right? I mean, there's nothing like before the 7-month mark, like 8 months, 9 months out, you can't really do anything, right?
I don't even think they want to talk to you until
7 months.
yeah. And if she's thinking of going like towards the end, Labor Day, it gets tight.
Okay. They also want to know, can you make a suggestion for a family dinner or dinner show?
Hoop-de-doo?
I've done Hoop-de-doo. The show is the show is good. I didn't like the food that much.
See, I can go with a crowd and not even care about the food. It's more about the show and the people that you're with.
That could be true.
If it's just me and Mary, the two of us, I would probably be more picky of the food. But if I'm there with 11 adults...
I'm trying to think of Hoop-de-doo's. I wouldn't say I've done I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it. I'd just have some reservations about the dinner thing. For a large group, Len, we're talking 15 here. What would you recommend for someone who's looking for a good family dinner? Obviously, a lot of ages, got to appease everyone.
In the parks, I like the buffets at Crystal Palace would be good, or Tusker House,
Tusker House.
or Beer Garden. I don't know how good Hollywood and Vine is because I haven't been there recently.
It's
But
all
there's
right.
that's what I'm thinking. It's probably not as good as the other ones. And off-site, I like the Cape May buffet. Wouldn't be bad, although is geared towards seafood. And then Boma, if you can get into Boma.
Yeah, that's some good suggestions there.
Yeah.
Also, is there a family event or activity that we should consider? With a group this large, you can imagine tickets would be to infinity and beyond. So do you have any suggestion of a place that we may get a break on our 4-day park hoppers? Thanks for your advice.
Yeah, check the least expensive ticket calculator because it'll tell you which third-party ticket consolidator or ticket wholesaler has the least expensive prices for the 4-day park hoppers.
I'll put a link to that in the show notes at
there are a couple of times when I have booked the luau at Luau Cove, and I think I've booked it 2 or 3 times, and I've canceled it each time about a few days before I've gone to it. I think that might be something that might be good for the whole family. It's pretty entertaining, and the food's decent from what I've heard. It's just that if you've ever been to Hawaii or if you've been to a real luau, you'll be really disappointed.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I have been to. Like Mike said, I've been to Hoop-de-Doo about 3 or 4 times, and the most enjoyable one was I was there with 15 other people, and there were actually 5 families with kids and everything, and that was very enjoyable. I didn't pay any attention to the food, and the food back then was not as good as it is now. That was back in 1992, but Carol and I went about 3 years ago. We had the best table in the place. It's table 13. And the food was more important. Well, the entertainment actually kept us away from the food. Although a hairpin just missed my bowl of soup. A hairpin came
Oh gosh.
from one of the grill. Yeah, I mean that's how close we were. But I think that I agree 100% with Mike that it's a great place for if you're with a family or a group of friends. The jokes are corny, but you really enjoy it, and you don't pay that much attention to the food. Although it is kind of expensive. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. You're not going for the food for that kind of money.
yeah. I mean, the tip to save some money on that is you go to the last show of the evening. Usually, like what's 9:30 or so. You can save some money in that regard. If you have annual pass, DVC. I don't have DVC, but Disney Dining Experience. That's what I meant. Tables in Wonderland, whatever they call the thing now.
I think I'd add just a couple other places for family groups that they would have fun. Ohana's, you definitely, you're going to have a little bit of fun there as a family. Maybe not a dinner show, but at least a family meal. And I know with our group, Whispering Canyon Cafe has been a great place to go for a group. Sometimes when they don't even know each other, you have the servers come in. All of a sudden you get to know each other very quick and fast.
That's some good suggestions also, Nat.
How about prime time?
Yeah, 50. Although,
That'd be
I would think
You got to
that's
get the
prob-
right server though.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem for a table 15 is seating them all together. I think that might be an
Yeah,
issue.
that's gonna be difficult to do.
Would you take up a whole kitchen there at prime time?
Yeah, I think so. Next email is from Tara, who's nervous in Illinois, who writes, good day, Matt, Mike, and Len.
Perfect.
I think that means Mike. Anyway.
Hello.
I only found your show online a couple days ago, and I've already listened to a dozen shows or more. My question is for us advanced planners. We booked our Wilderness Lodge trip for January 3rd through 12th, 2009, the beginning of June. I waited in anticipation for July 1st so I could plan my itinerary and ready with my 180-day ADR window open up. Well, the hours still have not been released, and I'm reading on various boards all sorts of rumors that they're cutting back parades, hours, extra magic hours, so forth, due to the economy and less people traveling. Is this a valid concern? I made my reservations based on previous years. I realize I may have to change some around when the park hours are released. My biggest concern is the impact on crowds. If Wishes goes down to a few times a week like Spectrum Magic and so forth, should I be concerned, or is it normal for Disney to take this long to decide on hours for a new year?
I'd be concerned.
Yeah. What days are the trip? Because Disney should have the extra magic hour schedule out already.
Yeah, January 3rd through 12th.
No, the schedule's already out.
Yeah.
Maybe not when she wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
But I mean, it's definitely a concern because obviously things can change. Obviously, with the cutbacks in Fantasmic at the studios, some of the daytime activities, get the Family Fun Day parade, and those kinds of things that have been cut out of the schedules now.
It's not a big loss. The Family Fun Day parade. I don't think that's.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's a lot of little things that have been cut out, and it may, obviously park hours also could be an issue. So, but I still think there's a cause for concern. That's for sure. You got to keep your eye on what's being released, in my opinion. Next question is from Adam, who writes, my wife and I are Walt Disney World veterans. Our 5th trip is coming this December. In the past, we've always gone in the summer and know how the crowds can build. We're planning on being in Epcot on days where the touringplan.com's crowd calendars are pretty low, like a 4 and a 5. Most of what I'm reading claim that we should arrive for the candlelight processional 1 hour before showtime. But I'm wondering if that applies to days that are so quiet. Scoba?
I don't think that it matters what day of the week. I don't care what Len's calendar says, because I think that it's essential that everybody realize that Candlelight Processional is an exceptional event. And
It's an exceptional processional.
exceptional processional, exactly. And regardless of whether you've signed up for the package or not, If you're signed up for the package, you need to get in line 1 hour before the show. If you are not signing up for the dinner package, you need to get in line 2 hours before the show. No exceptions. No exceptions at all. I have friends who in the past have actually stood in line for 3 hours, and they've actually stood while the first 2 shows were being performed until they finally got to sit down for the third show. It's very popular. They do it 3 times a night from, I think, right around Thanksgiving to Christmas. It's very popular. I can't say enough about it. I mean, I've gone to it several times, and each time I've done the Fantasmic dinner package. I've done the dinner package because it's just a time saver. And if you're like anyone, when you're down there, your time is priceless. So you try to do whatever you can to save time, and that means spending a little bit of money. And I think it's worth it. It's not worth it as much as it used to be because of the way they've changed it. I guess you have to eat your meal now before you actually see the show, and there's a few other things. Also, it can be expensive if you go for that third tier, which is the very expensive restaurant. So you have to be careful, and you have to figure out what's in your price range. But bottom line is that you need to be there an hour before the show if you're in the package, and at least 2 hours before the show if you want to get a seat for the show that you want to see.
Very good.
Long answer, I know, but that's the way it's important.
Got to get the information out there for sure. Next email is from Mary Kay of Bedford, Texas, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and the fabulous Annette. A friend is a veteran and has poor luck trying to participate in the Magic Kingdom's flag retreat ceremony. Any idea how one goes about signing up? Apparently, it's not something they decide that day, as last time he was told they were booked for the rest of the week. I know you go to City Hall, but what's the timeline? How far in advance do they book this?"
This sounds like it's a call to guest relations.
Yeah, I think what you have to do is you have to go to City Hall, and you have to do – it's first come, first serve. And what you could do is when you first get on there on your trip, immediately go down and sign up as soon as you get to Walt Disney World there on your trip. And that'd be the best thing you can hope for. And if it's all booked up, that's kind of thing you're stuck. You know what I mean? Next email is from Jenny A., who's formerly of Pass Christian, Mississippi, now calling Cornwall, United Kingdom home. Writes, "Hi, I'm Matt, Mike, and Len. Earlier this year, you read my email asking for resources for Disneyland Paris because my husband and I were on military transfer to England. I'm writing to you now from the UK, Cornwall to be exact. Yesterday, while shopping for a street atlas, in one of the bookstores here, I spotted a Disneyland Paris guidebook on the shelf. It's Brit's Guide, Disneyland Resort Paris, and it's written by Simon and Susan Venice, published by Folsham. While it's definitely written towards a British audience, the information included would be awesome to anyone. It's well written in a conversational tone and loaded with pictures. I've yet to get into the meat of the book, but so far I'm very pleased with the purchase. Just thought I would share it in case any of you listeners might be planning a visit. Thanks so much for all the help you offer. I can't wait until our household goods arrive so I can load my Zune up with your podcast and catch up." Cool. Thank you very much, Jenny. And next email is from Jeff Carr, who writes, "Greetings, Walt Disney World Today crew. One of my favorite smells in all of Walt Disney World are the perfumes in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. When I'm there with one or more people, I inevitably take them into the Norway shop with me, usually forced to walk through after Maelstrom, and I will stop one or more members of my party near the perfumes, and then when they aren't looking, spray some of that sweet-smelling aroma on them, usually some dude. This allows me to take that smell with me throughout the day. On my late trip to Walt Disney World, I was by myself, and I still wanted to smell with me throughout the whole day, and I waited and waited for the most opportune time to walk up to the perfume when no one was looking, so I thought. I grabbed a bottle, held it to my nose, and ripped up a couple of squirts on my shirt as I casually set it down. Then, to my horror, I heard giggling behind me. It appears 2 little girls behind me caught me what was going on and found it rather humorous what I was doing. Okay, it is humorous. Keep up the good work on the show. I am a faithful listener."
That's great.
Well, there's nothing wrong with spraying perfume on you, right?
I
You
think
stink around the world, huh?
Stick around the world. That's like the next challenge that we have. We should get a perfume or something smelly from every land, and then
Drink it.
yeah, really, if there's alcohol involved, that might be good. So we get a perfume or a scent from every country around the world, and then, but we have to do it like at the beginning of the day. So then at the end of the day, when it mixes with our sweat, that we reek to high heaven. That's
Yeah,
great.
we'll call it the triple S. Sip, snack, and stink.
This has so gone downhill.
I know.
Great.
I agree with Annette.
Bring the recorder. Yep.
I think we should give this question
Great.
to Mary Kay from a few questions ago.
I think we're all going through a post-election.
Oh, I forgot about that. It was yesterday.
Maybe it's a post-Halloween high.
Yeah, that must be it too.
Maybe it's some bad candy, man. Bad candy.
Next email is from
chocolate.
Rachel from Dania Beach, Florida, who writes, just wanted to know how much the Florida resident rates for a renewal of the seasonal annual pass would be. If the rates are going up anytime soon, the expiration date on the pass I have now is for September of this year. Thanks a bunch, and I love the show. Keep up the good work.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
The current renewal price for a Florida resident seasonal pass is $224.72 for adults and $198.09 for kids, including tax.
Oh, cool.
And I assume the prices, I don't really keep track of the seasonal pass prices, but I assume they all go up when everything else goes up.
Yeah, same time.
Alrighty. Next email is from Kevin Crossman of Fremont, California, who writes Aloha.
Never mind.
Who writes, Aloha, Annette. When are you going to demand an official co-host slot, including your photo on the WDW Today website? It's long since overdue. Kevin writes, our family went to Walt Disney World during Thanksgiving 2007 and avoided the large crowds on the Friday, Saturday of that weekend by attending other local attractions such as Gatorland and Kennedy Space Center. Next spring, we're planning to fly from California to Washington, D.C., and then drive down to Walt Disney World for a couple days at Animal Kingdom and Epcot. Can you recommend any Disney-style family attractions between Washington, D.C. and Walt Disney World, Virginia, Carolinas, Georgia, Northern Florida? Our sons are 11 and 7. This is all you, Lennon, and it.
That's interesting.
What
There's a
kind of
book-
attractions?
Any family attractions along the way over there.
Williamsburg.
Historical. Well, I guess it also depends which way you go, right? Because if you're going to take 95 down as opposed to 75 down, I would assume 95 if you're going from Washington, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, because you don't go
95
through.
all the way.
You can go see Pedro.
Yeah, it's south of the border.
South of the border.
Yeah.
South of
It
the
is.
border.
For those who don't
Don't be
know,
too impressed.
for those who don't know, south of the border is a total tourist trap. But you have to stop. It's just so bad that it's good. You'll see the signs like 800 miles before South Carolina. It's right on the North Carolina-South Carolina border. Hence, south of the border. It's right over the border in South Carolina. It's really stupid, but it's definitely worth stopping for because it's that bad. Anything you guys can recommend in North Carolina, like along the way? I know you guys are more closer to 75, right?
Yeah, I'm closer
How about
to.
Len's house?
Yeah,
Let's go.
Stop at Len's. We
Come
can
on,
give
by
you
Len's
the
house.
address.
Exactly.
So you could say you were in the Testa hot tub, you know? Who's in the Testa hot tub tonight?
How funny. In terms of attractions, what would be fun? Where are they coming from? From DC? So if you come down through DC, there are caves in the Virginia area that are fun for like an hour or two to stop by. So you go
I've done that.
underground. Yeah, so those are pretty fun. What else is fun to do?
Hey, let's go in some
95?
caves.
Monticello in Virginia is nearby. That's I kind of liked it.
The other thing I would add is the Welcome Center in Florida. When you cross the border from Georgia to Florida, they have free orange juice. That's
They
always,
still have it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And okay. Well, we have time for one last question, Mr. Newell. Assuming we can hear you, you'll pick the next question. This is gonna be a toughie for you, Mike. I'm gonna tell you right now. Option number 1, congrats, Mr. Scopa. Option number 2, Mike Scopa. Option number 3, January Marathon.
Wow. Congrats, huh?
So it's congrats, Mr. Scopa, Mike Scopa, or January Marathon.
I say let's go with congrats, Scopa.
All right.
Yeah.
Last email's from Kelly Ballard, DRALLAB 96 on the boards. Hoorah! Hoorah! Of Greenville, South Carolina, who writes, hello, guys. I want to congratulate Mr. Scopa on his announcement that he's going to be a grandfather. Of course, I am sure by the time you read this, the little Scopa grandchild will be celebrating his or her first birthday. All kidding aside, I am really excited for him and his family. No questions today, just best wishes.
Awesome.
That
Mike,
was nice.
Mike, have you told everyone what you're going to, how you want your grandchild to address you?
Oh, yeah. Well, first off, thank you, Kelly, for congratulations. The blessed event, I guess, is going to happen sometime in early March. We have found out that it will be a grandson, and don't know the name yet. My daughter is keeping it quiet.
Like the third?
Well, we'll see. What was the question? Oh, yes. The first thing that my wife and my daughter wanted to ask me was that, what do you want the baby to call you? So I'm saying, I don't really care. And so they kept on asking me and asking me. I said, all right, I'll tell you what. The baby can call me grandfather. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, if it's good enough for Heidi, it's good enough for, it's good enough to be grandfather. I said, think of how cute it would be. The little kid is running in, grandfather. So I think that would be, that would be fine. So
Very good.
Papa.
thinking about
Every
having
other granddad will be called anything else. They'll be calling him dad, granddad, whatever. And 3 years later, grandfather.
my 28-year-old son calls me Pops. That's bad
Nice.
I think you should have him call you Admiral. See how long it takes for them to realize that you weren't actually ever in the Navy. Well, not including your time in the Roman Navy.
The Navy.
That was, You and Spartacus really, tore up the old Adriatic.
That's funny.
Well,
I remember on the monitor.
Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, the official travel agency of WDW Today. If you're planning your trip to Walt Disney World, want some help trying to plan your trip, you've got to try to get some family stuff going on there. You want to have that intimate touch for your family and want to have some help figuring out where and when you want to be doing all these things, have the good agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel help you do that. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Sopa, and Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.